Okay, clicked.
We're up.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Crystallize live stream. We did take our time a little bit today to get this up and running, but yeah, we're here once more. And today with Mr. Board, I think we have like a really nice, cool, simple but really powerful example, right, Mr. Board? We want to showcase, and essentially we want to quote unquote demonstrate a little bit the idea of headless in a more like a different manner, where you can send down information downstream and across every channel that you need to, whether that is, and we're very usually showing here, especially in the channel, like something like an app or a web shop or something like this. But how about something different this time? So how about exporting our entire Crystallize product catalog in a PDF the format, if you want to just I don't know, print it, pass it around and stuff like that.
Or also, so frequently gotten requests on typically you might want to have product information for some selected products. It might be even with, it could be as simple as also cooking recipes, as we've been talking about before. But in this case, what you're showing now is, of course, the Next.js frontend for the furniture demo store, which has some beautiful products, some plants, some sofas, etc. And this is, of course, built from Crystallize. So if you, I don't know, if you want to take a look at briefly the structure in Crystallize in terms of these are products that are stored in the product catalog in the backend in the Crystallize service, and which makes it super easily accessible, because it's once a product is created, it's immediately available via the GraphQL API. So I guess we will walk through that also today in terms of the flow there. But so we have a product catalog. We have quite some products.
Shall I jump in the UI just show a little bit?
Do that. Yeah.
Cool. So as you guys know, on the left-hand side is the catalog. You're probably familiar with that already. So what we're going to be doing today is exporting this shop essentially, and all the different categories or folders, as we have them in Crystallize for structural purposes. So yeah, it's exactly the same setup as the one you see on the live example of the furniture tenant, with our products, pricing, and all the different information. And of course, all this information is available through immediately after publishing a product through the GraphQL API, quite fast, as you can see, right? With all of the components, all of the images, fetched, and URLs and variants of the images, etc., instantly available. So what we're going to be doing today is essentially use that our public catalog API to fetch this information for all the product catalog and export that in a PDF format. And of course, the code for this example is available for you to use. It's right here under Crystallize API. It's /Crystallize2 PDF. I have a link in the description down below. So if you want to go take a look, and maybe Mr. Bird, we can jump on the query a little bit, or a basic example.
Do that, because basically, and this we made it quite simple in this example. We basically list out all of the products under shop with their categories, and then we fetch the first image and the price in addition to the name of the product. So that's the data, and this is also the beauty with GraphQL, because now you're essentially querying all the products. Is it 200 and something products in this demo? Of course, it's ridiculously fast, as you saw, but we're only getting exactly the data that we are interested in. It's the high-res original version of the image.
So
it's not the scaled-down version. It's the price in the default price variant, and as I said, the name there. And that's essentially what we will use as an example in this case. But in a real-world scenario, you probably want to show how you can easily extend this query.
Yeah, so of course you can query more pictures of that product, right? So it's not the first image, but you can have images, and then you can get all the variants of that image, get the URL, get whatever, really. So essentially, it explains exactly how you want to build your catalog, and of course how you want to what data you want to export. So maybe the description, maybe if you have like some details on the product, some specs, specification, stuff like that you want to showcase, you just check and use the components you need, right? So that's what we've done as a simple example. And credits to Didrik for writing the code, of course, the board. We don't need to steal credit here. So yeah, this is essentially a very simple basic query that you can use. We'll go through the
this
code.
Is also just a note here. We are using here the children as part of to fetch. This is limited to 100 items per. So if you have a big catalog, you need to use the paginated call there. But for simplicity and readability, we just use that in this query. Yeah.
Cool. So shall we jump in the example first before diving in the code? And
let's just see what you get out of it, and do it.
Cool. So just before we just click the buttons here, as you can see, great design. Basically, we just download the code, and essentially we just we run it. It's a Next.js instance. So the drill is, of course, known. You download and then install all the packages and run it. So here you have the option to fetch either the comics or the products. Currently, of course, you enhance that however you want. And let's just click on products. So what this does is essentially using a package that fetches data and presents that as a PDF format. And what we do here is use the query that we've done, we showed before, and we categorize the products and create a catalog based on the parent folder. So the top level categories. So if you were to see in the shop, you would have like so. You have these guys as top level folders that later on have the products in the next level. So right now we have the top level categories, and then we have a page for each of the products under that category, right? With the product picture, as you can see, it's the one that we queried, that we used in the query, and of course the name and price of that product, which again it's the default price and default image for that one. So this is the example. Of course, you can run the same with the comics.
And also just a note here, this PDF was now generated on the fly, and it was 219 pages of the PDF that was generated. So it's the full product catalog, and of course this is something you would typically run on the server, and have it not being created on the fly, but you can. This is what we do here.
But it's a really cool example if you want to build something like, for instance, if you want to download a PDF for the product information for like someone to use, you can have it on the website. It's basically a call to your API in Next.js and fetch that back. So essentially the code can be used in many different ways, not just as a presentation of the example here. So really nice. And of course, same goes with comics. Let me just click on that for just to showcase basically what a different, let's say, layout can be. Again, it's a very simple format, but we're instead of querying products, we're querying comics, and you have some different, of course, formatting here. No pricing, for instance, right? So the idea again is the same: query the image, query the title of the comic, and present that in a PDF format, 1 page per item. So we'll take a look, like a dive in the code, perhaps.
Let's do that. And that's for
Let's
you.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's great. So hopefully my screen is quite okay and visible. Let me know if it's not. Great. So it's an Next.js application, right? So we have the basic format. Under pages, we have the main page, and of course, all the other URLs that we are querying is the /products and /comic ones. So these are essentially the one where the logic, let's say, resides. So for each of the pages here, just going briefly, the concept is quite readable and easy to understand. But essentially, we are querying for the item information, from Crystallize. As you can see here, we'll go through the query later on, but that's a basic example. And then we are returning or exporting in a view the PDF viewer, passing down the information from the data we get from Crystallize. And as you can see here, we're querying for the data of the catalog, which is the catalog API, and then we're drilling down the folders, which is basically what we want is the basic top-level categories that we said for the products. Same goes with topics, of course, kind of like a little bit different query, but overall similar structure. So let me jump to the product, since this is the top-level example that we have. As you can see here, we're getting, of course, the data from Crystallize. This is the data, and of course, this is the pages, we call it. It could be easily something like categories name for like if you makes you understand it better. And we are exporting an array of pages. Top level page, of course, is the category title, and then for each of the children of that top level node, we are creating an array of pages. So basically, these are all the products under the catalog, and this exports a page with an image, as you can see, and of course a view here that includes the product name and the price in euro. And here, this is where you would typically just change the format and change the layout exactly how you want it to be. Add more images, maybe add some more information, specs, etc., description of the product, and so on and so forth. But like Mr. Board mentioned, it's kept quite simple for demonstration purposes and having a clean, understandable example of how you can work with it. And of course, there's some CSS properties that I will not play smart and try to examine further. But the idea here is that, for me at least, a really nice, cool example of how you can, decouple a little bit of logic here in different files and make it cleaner to work with. If you go over the query file, you can see bright as day that the query is simply fetching a catalog from the catalog API, all the items underneath as folders, which essentially, again, it's the main categories of the product catalog. And underneath that, you fetch the products of these categories, right? And on the product, you fetch the default variant and its first image and price. So again, it's exactly the same query we used in the demonstration, the GraphQL API, the GraphQL Playground. So yeah, pretty simple, I think, understandable. Hopefully I explained that a little bit as slowly as I can speak, but
yeah, it's we have to keep up when you speak.
Yeah. Well, just guys, if it's I'm talking too fast, play like I don't know, 0.5 speed or something like this.
But I think the example quite speaks for itself. It's a simple query to fetch all the products, and we kept it simple, and you can just add the components you want, etc. There's some CSS styling there. So the cool thing here to me is that you can actually do this in Next.js or just plain React and generate PDFs. So it's extremely familiar for front-end developers. Whereas back in the day, creating PDFs it was more of a a voodoo thing. It was not that accessible as it is now. And of course, there's several use cases here. You don't just need to use it for like products or marketing contents, like let's say a comic book. This is also what you would use to generate, let's say, PDF order confirmations, receipts, that type of PDFs that it's quite useful for the users of even a website, right?
For sure.
And it's kind of bridging this online, offline also. If it is, for example, if you don't want to watch or have the iPad when you're cooking a dish, for example, you can print the recipe as a PDF. Of course, you can also print a web page. We know that, but that's not the point of this.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what I had to show of the Didrik's work. Again, props Didrik. I'm not trying to steal credit.
It was good.
And simple enough. It's
literally, just to interrupt you, so Didrik made this. We had the comic example, and he made the catalog example, and it took literally 15 minutes from start to end there. So it's quick to get up and running. Easy to understand.
Hands, of course, right?
Yeah.
So even if you don't want to start from scratch and you want to take the example and enhance it to your liking, then it should be super simple. Add some stuff to the query, fetch different fields, and then just build the layout that you like most.
Yep. So I guess that's it for today, Stavros.
Yeah, I think it was pretty nice.
Different topic next week. We will do some introductions to the newly released next generation of our subscription engine. We'll talk a little bit about different business models, etc. But that's for next time.
That will be super interesting. So yeah, looking forward to it. Awesome. I guess that was it. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for watching. And like Mr. Bort said, tune in again for the next one with the subscription engine and what we released there, and some cool examples, I guess, that will come in the near future. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a nice day.